Hello, guys. Welcome back to Talent League. I'm 1B, joined by my co-caster here, GTL, and we are back with game two of week four. But as I said, this is my co-caster, TTL, and it would be very rude of me not to ask, how are you, TTL? Time to light.
I'm awake. I'm awake. That's a great start to the day. It's a good day. We got some R6. It's not Monday anymore, so I'm happy. We got to see the number one and number two teams go up against each other yesterday. Now it's numbers 3 and 4. If either of these two teams win, they shoot themselves up to second place and start to take some control here in the Talent League Major League.
Yeah, and that's exactly the stakes are for this game. It's not. I know from the Twitter post, it sounded like that Humble were the only team that could go into second place, but for Loud, that is the same story as well. But for both teams, they haven't had the same type of starts this season, but it kind of is, kind of not. It's a very weird storyline. So let me kind of walk you through it before we go straight into our map bans. For Humble Academy, they have 2 wins and a loss so far in this Talent League season with only 3 games played. And for Loud Esports, it's been a win, a draw, and a loss. And some of those results, especially from their wins and loss categories, have been a bit weird. For Loud Esports, their 1 win came from a forfeit win, and then their 1 draw came from a result that they got from Machine Soldiers, not Machine Soldiers Academy, but Machine Soldiers Esport. And their 1 loss came from an absolute thrashing against Praetorian, where they lost the whole series 14-0, did not get a single round throughout 2 maps played. But I digress. And speaking of maps, let's get straight into the map bans where we will be heading to Oregon and Bank.
Yay! Who's excited for Oregon? I'm not gonna run the bit I did yesterday because it still says Clubhouse in Oregon. Map 1 will be Oregon, Map 2 will be Bank. So if you're looking for more of an exciting time, stick around for about an hour. It will come back to our more fun map of the two. Oregon is still boring. I'm not gonna call it Boregon because I think we milked that joke dry yesterday with Austin. But 1B, heading into Oregon for these teams, I'm looking at some of their previous results, and it's not looking like either of them favor the map itself. Looking at last weekend or week specifically for these squads, we saw Loud take on Machine Soldiers. It was Chalet and Villa, 7-4 Machine Soldiers on Chalet, 7-4 to Loud on Villa, which was their map pick. And the reason it's auto banned, it's either up here or down here somewhere. I don't know where I am on the graphic, but you get the general idea of it. On the other side, we saw Humble Academy take it to Skyscraper last week and lose. They dropped to All Track Academy last Wednesday. I was just producing that game, so I was just pressing buttons in the background. But they lost 7-5 and 7-5, an 0-2 loss for them. Not a great one for them. But remember, either of these teams win and you move up to second place. And for Humble Academy specifically, it's just win a map and they take second place, considering the 0-2 loss we saw just yesterday from Vivid to Praetorian.
Yeah, and as we have both teams that are ready, as I get the okay from my producer, the one thing that I did want to talk about in terms of like results when it comes to the similarities between both of these teams is that both of them do have forfeit wins. For Humble Academy, at least in their second win, they have half of a forfeit win where QVG had to give them a map win, and then they played the second map and they won it. So that's how they got the series 2-0 over them. But both of these teams have had a bit of luck. Both of these teams have had some pretty rough moments, especially for Loud Esports, especially suffering that 2-0 loss. I feel like I'm going to be referencing it a lot today, especially if we see a lot of the mistakes that I saw from them last week, or like it was like 2 weeks ago, I believe. But again, I digress. We are going to head straight into Oregon, where we will be heading straight into the map bans because community vote. Before we get into that, I do want to talk about the community votes and also bring your attention to the staff votes. The community vote is a returning thing that has been concurrent across Talent League throughout the last few seasons and so as well. For staff vote, it's newer. It's a new thing in this season, so get used to it. But for the community vote, a lot of you guys seem to think that Loud Esports will win, and a lot of you
Uh,
guys seem to think that Humble Academy will win. It's very evenly split, but more so favoring Loud Esports.
Just by a little bit. It's 46 for Loud, 42 for Humble, and a 12% draw. I'm going to take the draw on this one, considering our maps coming into this. I'd expect Loud to probably, I'm going to say probably take Bank, but as we head into Oregon, it's almost certainly going to favor Humble. Into the staff vote, the staff thinks Humble's going to win. Nobody thinks it's going to be a draw, understandably so. I don't know about that. I'm not part of the staff, so don't count me in on that draw. But as we head into map number 1, it is Oregon between Humble Academy and Loud Esports. Bumby, I want a thought. Who's going to take map 1?
As a thought, I don't really know. I haven't, again, like I said, we haven't seen neither one of these teams on this map so far this season, or I haven't seen any of them play it. More so for Loud Esports, since they have more games played on the stream compared to Humble, who've only played, well, they've only theoretically played like 1.5 games, considering the fact that QVG forfeited map, whatever, right? But I feel like this is going to be a very close map. We haven't seen neither one of these teams play it. The bans are a little bit predictable, seeing as neither one of these teams have played this map. And again, we got word that Humble Academy, they're not really wanting to try new maps because they don't want to give any strats away because they're in a little knockout tournament thingy. BCS,
What?
thank you.
I was about to say I have no idea what the knockout tournament thing is. I'd expect them to play your normal maps. Methics just leaves. That's cool. Great start. Thatcher, Habana, Wamai, normal bans. I'd expect Wamai to be a target ban towards Loud. Loud has a little bit more on-stream time compared to Humble in terms of both here and in various other T3 and T4 tournaments around EU, so it's understandable to see that. Mira, it's a Mira ban. I'm not even going to go into it. You know why Mira's banned on Oregon. It's another day in the life of a Rainbow Six Siege player not being able to play the Spanish up. But we do have a connection issue, so we're going to pause things for just a second. We had connection issues yesterday. You remember connection issues yesterday, 1B?
It was mainly because the dude's PC crashed. I don't think it's, you know what, I blame Ubisoft for a lot of things, but that was mainly down to the incompetence of, it was a Praetorian player. I can't remember who it was, but like his PC was just not working at all. It was terrible, but yeah, it's just one of the many issues of Siege nowadays. I know a lot of teams have had issues with like Uplay bugs and stuff like that, where like where they'd use their main account, the main account that they would usually play competitive matches on, and then they can't use it for some odd reason because of some connection bug or whatever. It's just really bad, but hopefully Ubisoft fix it, but that's a big hope. And I've been told by my mom before that I dream too big, and Ubisoft proves me right every single time, so there you go.
I'm just going to let that one sit there.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on. They've joined back in the lobby. We're going to pretend that conversation just never happened and move on with our lives. Into Oregon we go. Methics is back into the game. 1B, I was going to ask you to elaborate on that, but I'd also like to avoid that conversation, so I'm not going to.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I woke. You know what? Okay, look. I'm gonna tell you guys a story, but
no, you're not.
No, come on. No, come on. Let me. All right, look. You know what? This reminds me of the of that one match that Manchester City had where De Bruyne got like a card for talking to the ref, and David Silva was holding him back as Mathics is again, and De Bruyne's just sitting there like, let me talk. And his very.
Oh yeah.
That was so funny, but I use that for reference all the time when people don't let me talk, but it's okay. I would never use it for nobody as of recently, but we are gonna head into straight into the first site for Loud Esports, and it is gonna be on this second floor. For Loud Esports, considering the fact that Mathox did leave, I can't remember which operator he was on. That's gonna leave them empty-handed, not only on the scoreboard, but just also in terms of presence for this second floor site. You really need as many bodies up as possible.
They're making quick work of it, though. Humble Academy, very quick in towards the map proper, and understandably so. You want to take some control while Methics is gone, hopefully push it into the next round where they can't join back. Gain some competitive advantage in unfortunate situations. It's a feels bad man moment for Methics. I guess it is what it is. We'll move past it. You all understand the old saying, oh, we're playing ranked, why would we have a full team? Last move will hang out down below. C4 wielding Mute will try and play vertically, and understandably so, but has to find a kill with this, especially already running into the man disadvantage. Arbo is in an awkward position. SMG-11 out, looking to swing onto one, and, well, with that Rotero drone pushing in, not a great start for them. Mismo will fall early, and this is just falling apart here for Loud. Already 2 men down. Baby Shark almost swung on up white, but they are going to stay alive for the time being. Loud are being collapsed on here, 1v.
Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. Again, Maddox DCing twice, not only in the pick phase, but now during the actual prep phase doesn't bode well, and they're losing even more bodies. Andrea grabs one. There goes a trade, an eventual trade from Loud Esports, but now we see Lasmo in the eventual 1v4 situation. He doesn't have a nitro cell that's already being used to get that 1 kill on the board for Loud. He tries to rotate up white, gets immediately smacked by Bart, and the first round goes into Humble Academy's favor.
And handedly so. I mean, yeah, maybe Methics not being there hurt a little bit, but I don't think it was that much. It's not a great situation, obviously, but hey, Loud need to go past it. Hopefully Methics doesn't disconnect anymore. That's at least the goal for them. Humble Academy, with the opening round, that's exactly what they need. It's the attacking side of Oregon. We saw Oregon yesterday. Now, for all of you who were not here yesterday, Praetorian took Oregon 7-4. They also, coincidentally, took map 2, which was Clubhouse 7-4, but that's not particularly the point. Oregon was not heavily defensive-sided, but relatively. It was 4-2 for Praetorian in the first half, and then they finished it off 7-4, so they made it a 3-2 second half on their attacking side. I think it was more Praetorian favor than it was defensive sided favored, but again, it is what it is, at least who they played.
Yeah, I was the observer for that game, and it for the most part Praetorian looked extremely. It was more or less when they did get that the defensive advantage, making it a 4-2 split. It was mainly just Vivid not having good attacks and Praetorian just dominating on their defense. It could have been the fact that Praetorian are having such a dominant season, not really dominant season so far, but they are having a really good start to Talent League, and that momentum is driving them forward. But you know, I don't want to talk about Praetorian. I want to talk about Humble Academy, as they do have a player who's left the game. Maddox leaves again, but the first kill goes into Loud's favor. Baby Shark all the way from the top floor. Master Bedroom spawn peak is able to get the slash. Gets another one from the top of main stairs. The second kill for Baby Shark as he lights up this round very early on for Loud Esports.
So it has been 33 seconds. Of the 10 players that entered into this round, there only remains 6. 2 disconnected, 2 got spawn peaked, and 1 spawn peaked those 2. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Bart and Methics have both DC'd. Down goes the previous round's Flores, and, well, Methics just can't play anymore. It feels bad man moment for them. They've already lost the Sledge and Zofia. That's a lot of your hard breach, and Last Boo's about to see for this. It could land. I think it may. Looking to just fire open that soft breach, and understandably so. The C4, will it land? Yes, it will. Down goes Andrea. It is down to Nagwal in a 1 versus 4. Not a great position for the ace. The only hard breacher remaining, the only player remaining, up against all 4 players for Loud, because, well, Methics is DC'd. It is really just all 4 players. And what's the call here for Nagwal? If I had to guess, probably find some kills, but it's still not a great position for the ace.
Yeah, not exactly. He doesn't really have any utility to use against this defense. I mean, he does have 2 claymores, but you know what? Can you throw a claymore? Can you throw a claymore and it explode on impact? No. I mean, there's nothing you can really do here for the ace, and he does have 3 Selma charges, but he also needs to be able to fire his weapon quick enough in order to catch all 4 of these players off guard. He almost catches Baby Shark, who's aggressively peeking an angle from the kids' dorm hallway. He's gonna peek right into that same angle again. Baby Shark readjusting his position, a player in attic as well. Smoke grenades going out. It's just not possible for Nagwal to to be able to clutch this out. He has somebody flanking him. He has 3 people holding an angle against him on that trophy doorway. And again, it doesn't seem to be any option out for the Ace. He just needs to either die or get 4 other kills, and it seems like the latter is going to be the option. But for Humble Academy, you know, the positive is here. Hey, look, we got our first attacking round win. It wasn't maybe the more credible win, seeing that Loud had a player disconnect early on, but they were able to get it. They lose this round. Kids Dorm is a very favorable site for the defense, but now it's you know, now they got it for Loud Esports. Humble Academy won it once. So now what site will we see from Loud?
That really comes down to whether Methics comes back. I think he will eventually. It's Laundry Supply, the current call for the squad, and understandably so. Why are they questioning a pause? Methics isn't here. Don't you usually pause for like 4 seconds when somebody doesn't show up? I think they're
Yeah.
just questioning what the heck's going on. It's a Ubisoft issue. Unfortunately, we're seeing both players come off, and it's not a great position for either team to be in. Methics, of course, continuing to DC means Louds played 2 different rounds coming into it with only 4 players. Luckily, that round you also saw Humble Academy have Bart DC and a nice double kill to open things up from Baby Shark was nice, but Humble Academy, they still need a round win here, and I'm questioning what's going on with both squads, mainly connection wise, because Wombi, yeah, tech issues happen, but like 3 or 4, how many DCs have we had? 1, 2, 3
We've
plus
had
2 spawn peaks?
We've had 3 for Mathox, then 1 for Humble
Yeah.
Academy. So at this point, I don't really know what's going on. This happened against Praetorian yesterday, when one of their players were playing, it like crashed mid game. It crashed the whole PC. I don't really know what the hell happened with them. Same thing seems to be happening with Loud. I don't really know. Yeah, yeah. Maybe they need to check the thermal pasting, or like look to replace their CPUs or something, because something is in the water with these PCs, and I'm scared to play Siege at the moment because I don't want my stuff to fry up. But yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with neither one of these. Well, not really Humble, but mainly for Loud, because it's continuously happening. We've only been 3 rounds in, and we've already had like 3 connection issues from the same player.
It's a combination of a UB issue and a PC issue as well. Unfortunately, it's how the cookie crumbles. Technical issues and Rainbow Six Siege. Name a more iconic duo. Not great positions for these squads, but I'm questioning how to fix this. Methics seems to not be able to reconnect, so what they're going to do is they're going to call in a sub, and we are going to send it to a break. When we come back, we're going to restart Oregon. We're going to get things right back underway. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome
Hello.
back. It's Talent League, Rainbow Six Siege. We're in the Major League, Humble Academy up against Loud Esports. We're back from the tech issues. Apologies for the delay and the little bit of a break, but we are here, and hopefully Methics has fixed things. In all fairness, Methics has only lost connection when they were in-game or in pick/ban plays for, operators, but hopefully that changes to them staying for the entirety of the day. We had tech issues yesterday. It was fixed later on. But we're back underway. I'm still timed late. Next to me still 1B, and are we going to see anybody DC anymore?
At this point, if it happens again, that's just on them at this point, because we can't do any more tech pauses, at least not for Loud. For Humble Academy, if the option is there, then they can take it, but we've already ran out of options at this point, so the game must go on. If Mathics or even any of the Loud players decide that, or the PCs decide that it's time to disconnect. But as I say this, they do head into the more tertiary bomb site, the basement of Oregon, one of two more of the more successful defensive sites on this map. And interesting setup so far. Well, mainly the E-box hatch being blown up, and I wonder what this entails for the defense.
Hopefully a win, at least for Loud, if you're a Loud fan. For Humble Academy, they're looking to play this one quickly. They're bringing a carbon copy of what they have brought in previous rounds. This time, Bart is staying in the round, so that's a good start for them. Last move extending in towards Kitchen. We saw this yesterday in the Praetorian match. This is a good position to play as long as you stay here long enough and maybe even get a kill. It's really time off the clock, plus, well, finding a kill. That's a good combination. They are opening up both the E-box hatch and the attic hatch down in towards meeting, so playing some odd angles and a little bit more of an extension compared to what we saw yesterday with more condensed holds. I like this call for Loud. It's something different that maybe they're not expecting on the Humble Academy side.
Yeah, it's a lot different than what we saw from yesterday, and more of an aggressive hold from Loud Esports. And the more noticeable again change on this defense compared to what we saw from both Praetorian and Vivid yesterday is the fact that E-box hatch is open. But not only that, the extension being played from Loud Esports in meeting. Okay, the player to die on that meeting extension is going to be Maddox, but you also have an extension on the top floor. There goes Last Mo to find an eventual trade onto Bart. So now we have an evened out man count between both of these teams. But for Humble Academy, they're looking to get inside of the map, establish map control very early on, and, well, establish where their attack is going to be from, whether that be from Freezer, because it looks like they're setting up for a Freezer attack, or whether that be maybe a Freezer laundry split. I don't know. Let's see where this attack heads us.
Mi's looking to lock down the top floor and wants to stay here as long as humanly possible. Reiku looking to clear this out quickly at that. Does not want to allow the castle to stay alive. The push through, still looking for the frag, is unsuccessful in doing so. The UMP comes out on top of that duel, and the top floor still being held down. Shark finds a kill of their own as Naku will fall. This is not a good position for Humble to be in. They have lost 2 more players, and another swing from Mismo will finally be shut down. Man count even. They're back to even keels as Humble finally bring it back with 2 kills of their own.
Now we're in a 2v2, 45 seconds left for, well, the attackers to make a play onto the side, but also now 40 seconds left for the defenders to hold off these attackers. Well, the positives for the defense for Loud is that, you know, nobody has fallen so far, and also they do have 2 smoke grenades and the nitro cell to hold off these attackers as Andrea gets bypassed by one. Lasmo is there to slap him onto the ground, so now Struso is left in the 1v2 situation. Diffuser in hand, he's the only one left alive. Like I said, no frag grenades, and he handles the sledge. Diffuser is though, and he has to find a killer for 2 of those last smoke canister is used by Andrea, but he does peek into it, dies, and now Struso is up against the weakened Lasmo, but Struso is weakened as well, and it is Lasmo to win out that gunfight because Struso isn't even looking at him. Loud get their 2nd round in a row, 2nd defense in a row, and they get it on the basement site.
They now head to either meeting kitchen or kitchen dining, depends on what they like. Most of the EU teams I've seen like to go meeting kitchen. That's the call here for Loud as well, and understandably so. Humble Academy, a little bit of a weaker round for them. They lost the man advantage early. Yeah, they brought it back, but unnecessary peaks and not as a squad forced them into 1vx scenarios. It was 1v2 twice over. A good attempt, to say the least, for Struso, but an unsuccessful one as well. Loud had a shot to throw that away, but good Toxic Babe usage. I was a little confused why Struso didn't try and push through the freezer. They do have the sledgehammer. You just open up a little peek hole and bang, you could walk through. The footholes, or the head holes, were already there to peek across for the crossfire. But into the now tertiary bomb site for Loud. They head to meeting kitchen, and understandably so. Well, it's a relatively similar composition to what you'd see anybody bring here. Notably, Methics is bringing the Tachanka, which is a little different, but the Echoes, not surprising. Neither is the Castle, and, well, it's Jaeger Mute, 2 of the more played operators on defense as a whole, no matter what the map nor site is.
Yeah, kitchen meeting is the site, and to be honest, I really, you know what, I prefer this site over the kitchen dining site, if I'm being honest myself. I do, they're both of them, at least when I'm describing kitchen dining and kitchen meeting, is that you do have to extend onto the 2nd floor, as we do see some nice drones set up from Humble Academy. Obviously, the focus of their attacks is going to be towards this attic side, and it looks like maybe they want to open up the attic wall just so they have that soft breach capability from above where they can get an easy plant onto stage. Andrea taking some early damage. Bart holding this Osa shield, prepping it for placement as Humble Academy. They're setting up their drones, they're setting up their attacks as well, and they're already getting some of their util usage down on the board. A Maverick hole being made so that they remove utility off of this wall makes it easier for the Thermite to be able to use his Thermite, and there you go.
Methics still playing inside of meeting proper, and I'd understand why, but I don't know why they'd extend this far at all. Airboat looking through, but I want the Tachanka to play further back. They should not be playing as open as they were. Finally does fall behind the sandbags. That's a position to play. You can look in through the hatch as well. but I'm really up to how Humble can lock this down on the attacking side. They're looking to set up crossfires. You have Raku down below with nades in hand, but there's not a great spot for them to play through. Shumiko launcher finally being used. It took them about a minute and a half to force it out here on the attacking side to swing through. Mythic's almost falling there. The information is there. They could nade this out if they had the info. They don't even have to. Struso gets the kill, but it's immediately traded back. There's still 80 seconds left in the round, and Humble are already initiating gunfights, and Loud just cannot force this. That is a good nade, or a C4, but it only dings Bart down to 50, and Bart will trade it back for a kill of their own.
Yes, you know what? That was almost really good play from Maribel. Could have gotten some nice little hero plays down, playing that little tight corner by the backstage of the meeting, but he doesn't get that pick as Lasmo makes this sneaky sneak inside of the kitchen hallway, and he doesn't succeed. Struso takes, or not Struso, yes, Struso takes him down. We do have an eventual trade from Baby Shark. The push is going to have to come at some point. The Ultra Shield blocking down a defuse. Lasmo, or not Lasmo, but Baby Shark with another, as I confuse the names, my fault. Struso, Andrea, the last two alive for Humble Academy, and for Loud, Baby Shark and Mismo, the Castle and the Jaeger versus the Maverick and the Sledge. Struso on flashing great HP and 30 seconds left to boast. But for Loud Esports, they don't really have anything to counter the defuse. All they have to do really is play for intel, play for sound, and do a swing. Struso though hits in deep to get the plant down behind sandbags. There goes the overwatch from Andrea, but the flank from Mismo, nobody knows about it and nobody's watching it. Here goes one from Mismo. Can he find a second? Yes, he can. It's a 1v2 clutch from the Castle, and we do have a third round in a row for Loud Esports. Mismo, the game sense to be able to pull off a flank like that, because nobody from Humble Academy was watching that whatsoever. He knew they were focusing on Baby Shark, but they didn't know exactly where the Castle was at, and that's exactly how Loud won that round.
A little bit of a surprising position for them to push through, at least if you're Humble Academy. Of course, we have the X-ray vision and the third-person perspective. We knew exactly where they were going. Unfortunately, Humble Academy didn't, and tunnel visioned. That's the issue they ran into. They didn't have the information to work off of. The flank drones just were not there, and the due diligence was not done by the Humble Academy attack. A good plant, just not a good follow-up, and a little bit of BM to close it out, and I think understandably so. You get a nice little 1v2 with a castle, no less. You add a couple shots on the dead bodies. I feel like that's warranted. Loud, a good defensive round, their third now in a row, as you mentioned, and Humble Academy need a win here. They cannot afford to give Loud 4 and allow them, well, to push onto a possible secondary site with a 5th in mind. If Humble don't win this, they're up against it, and they cannot afford to be, especially on their own map pick of Org.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird attack as well towards the end of it. What could have been the difference in that round, because if they don't have intel, then how can you really know that there's a plant going on? You're just looking, you have Andrea who's looking at rotations, and then Struso who did get the plant down, and all he has to do is watch over the diffuser while Andre watches for any rotations into sight. You know, what could have been the difference there? Well, drones. You know, maybe have a drone in that connector hallway that separates meeting from dining. If it's not the rotation, it is that hallway. You could have had a drone there. You know, just food for thought for Humble Academy, as they may want to look over this VOD and they may want to look at that specific moment and wonder what went wrong. But in this round, you know, they don't have any time for reflections. They need to get this round win. Well, they just have to start with the basics. Not that, though. That's not a basic. That is not a basic strat at all to counter from Loud Esports. And it is Maddox to get the first pick into this round. And that's onto the Zofia as well. That's so much utility loss. But quickly traded out by Struso. But again, a really huge pick from Maddox.
They clear elbow, though. The info should not be here for Humble Academy. They haven't droned out this close corner. I think they've thrown the drone in. They should know about him. He has to back away. The footholes, dropping him down to about 25 HP. Good positioning from Humble Academy, making sure they finally throw their drones in, and they find a kill into Lasmo as well. Struso getting that kill over towards the Arsenal position, jumping out and re-repelling as they want to continue to lock down this far side. Loud, up against it. Kona stations will heal Arbo up, to 50 HP and look to get even more as they retake and rotate back onto the site. But Humble Academy still have the advantage. They have the man advantage. They have the real estate advantage. They have a lot of map control that you wouldn't usually expect an attack to have with still 80 seconds remaining on this round.
Minute and 15 left to go for the attackers as we see the Selma charges be destroyed from Managua, so obviously he wasn't pleased with the placements. That's exactly why he shied it, or I think Nivo was eventually going to shoot it, so he just did it for him. But anyways, we are going to see a 4v3 now, 3v3 slimmed down from Mismo as he takes out Struso. So at the moment for Humble Academy, they don't really have, well, they do have plenty of time to work with. They do have Bart on these kids' window. There goes the pick as well for Humble Academy, so it should spearhead them straight into the site. A couple of kills, and now we see a 2v1. Andrea, the last one alive, 3 smokes in hand, so he does have some way to hold these defenders off. He knows that there's one in attic, and he does have a clue that there is one on his window as well. So there goes his intel for Data. That's a nice shot as well onto Andrea. Now we see Bart in the 1v3 situation, or not 1v3, 1v1 situation, as the Flores is forced to rotate into attic. But again, you would be able to smoke in this position. 1v1, 1 smoke cannon still left. You smell it. The smoke has these clutch genes, and Bart doesn't have the fuser, so this is just a question position for Humble to be in the first place. Doesn't spot out Erbo holding trophy, and that is how Loud win that round, just off of some incompetence from the Humble Academy attack, and Diffuser nowhere near those last 2 Humble Academy players.
Again, a round where Humble Academy have the advantage, yet throw it away a little bit later. That time it was a little less compared to what we've seen in previous, but still something to note. They need to be able to finish off those rounds where they have something to work off of, and now as the Loud Esports defense heads back to the basement, it's a must-win round for Humble Academy. If you go down 5-1 on Oregon, you're not winning the game. You may send it to OT and then win by proxy there, but I'm not gonna lie to you here, 1B. I am not liking their chances.
No, not at all. It's been, you know what, it's been very, you would say it's been very close rounds where it's just been based off of, Loud Esports are winning based off of like 1vx clutches, 1v2 clutches. We saw one from the Castle from Loud Esports Academy. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mismo. And then for Loud, again, in that last round, it was another 1v2 clutch. And that time it came from Araba. So you'd have to wonder, like, you know, again, it's those little small mistakes where we see these like big clutches happen, but it's based off of, again, Humble Academy's own incompetence on their own attack, whether that be intel gathering, whether that be leaving Diffuser in a stupid place. It's the small stuff that matters, the small stuff that becomes the biggest issues for a lot of these teams. And look, you know, the intel gathering has to be somewhat decent here to spot Baby Shark in this corner, because if they're not clearing this out with drones or even their own guns, I have no hope for Humble Academy to be able to take Oregon at all. But it doesn't even look like they're going to push there to start.
What's the call here? If Humble Academy win this, it's a 4-2 split. Loud, again, aren't favored in terms of overall standings, but both of these teams have forfeits in their records. Baby Shark, lucky to be alive. There's a vertical position on T3 that you can't see that could be pushed through, and they haven't thus far. Loud are replicating their same defense from previous, and Methix finding the opening kill is a good way to start things off. Again, remember, Loud have lost the singular round that they have thus far, mainly because of a disconnect and a collapse in terms of their overall defense. They're already up in a 5 versus 3. They have massive control in terms of the map that Humble Academy just cannot match. Yeah, you have tower control. Congratulations. That's not the site, and they're not even pushing into meeting thus far. This is an awful position for Humble Academy to be in, both in terms of rounds and, well, in terms of the man disadvantage, which has compounded to 3.
Yeah, this does not bode well for them. There goes Bart from Tarps. He's able to get one onto that E-box hatch, so maybe that extension from Loud maybe being a bit too much, but I mean, if it works out, it works out for them, and at the moment, it does look to be so. Now a 4v1 as Bart is finally taken out. Nagul has been in this position before, but he hasn't clutched it out, so maybe the result can change. I'm not really too hopeful. Again, he doesn't really have any utility to support him. He just has the AK-12 in hand, and against 4 of these Loud Esports players, it's just, I don't really think so. And if Loud Esports play this properly, maybe Shark missing a couple shots with Nagul as the ace ends up backing out. He's gonna head down Laundry Stairs there. He's a little bit confused about where he wants to head, and if I'm in a 1v4 like this, I'd be a bit confused too. My whole team is dying around me. They're not really playing together as a team on their attack, and it's not only been that, but it's been a lot of compounding issues for Humble Academy on their attacks, and that's why we're at a 5-1 deficit. That's why you see Loud with such a huge lead at the moment, and this is a huge lead as they head onto their attack, because all they need is 1 round to put them onto match point. Then they need another round to take the whole map, and then we have a 7-1 win from Loud Esports. But I'm looking too ahead into the future. It's just basically it's just not looking good at all for Humble.
Humble will start things off on the defensive side on the top floor. That's where they decide their primary site will be, at least to start things off. They could change that decision given a loss, but Humble can't afford a loss. It needs to be flawless to win, flawless -1 to tie, just to send us to OT, and I don't like their chances. Yeah, it's the defensive side of Oregon, which is favored, but I don't think it's 5-1 favored on a normal basis. Loud took a decent bit of control. They played very aggressive on their defensive side, which is not normal, at least not from what I've seen in Talent League, especially in the Major League, which I'm a little surprised about. But hey, that was their prerogative, and it worked out fairly well. I'm looking at how to play this if you're on the Loud side. I think it's conservative and very methodical. That should be the call. I don't see them sending themselves into unnecessary gunfights because the confidence has been there. It's just not been unnecessary confidence nor overconfidence, which I think is very, very good for the team.
We shall see, but for Humble Academy, we are going to head onto the 2nd floor, and at least there's not really a lot of differences from what we've seen from Loud Esports, apart from the setup, which is going to be happening as of now. But for Andrea, is going to be sporting that Thunderbird. We do see the smoke coming out as well as the Melusi in play. But for the attack, I do want to see some interesting attacker repicks. I have seen, you know, I've been watching some Praetorian VODs as of recently. Not only Praetorian, but a lot of other teams like LFO as well. I rewatched the LFO match. I casted that game. If you want to rewatch the VOD, then go do it. It was a pretty nice cast that I did with Austin. But LFO, I mentioned this a whole bunch during that cast, but I thought LFO made really good use of the attacker repick, and so did Praetorian as well. But oh well, they have a new name now. I'm going to learn that after, because that was just struggling to me. But yeah.
Yeah, LFO are actually no longer looking for an org. They are now Laburnum Gaming. I am producing them on Thursday, so I got to add their logo and everything. They actually do have a cool logo. Highly recommend checking them out. I think it's at Laburnum Gaming or something like that on Twitter. They're cool. Highly recommend them as a squad because they're both good and now have an organization to support them. You love to see it when orgs pick up teams that are looking for an org, hence the reason they were LFO. But Humble Academy now on the defensive side, I don't like their positioning overall. Yeah, they're into the most primary site in the game. Everybody plays kids' dorms, but how often you play it is the real question. Drea looking to impact trick the Selma is successful? I don't know what the heck I just watched there. I think they were successful. They threw out 1, and apparently it's got in the second half of that Selma, but still, things are opened up just a little bit on that far side. Arbo now here on close T3, looking to prep the attic wall. And this is a great position for Loud. They're making quick work of this attack. That impact trick should not land, and it doesn't. This is now an awful position for Andre to be and has to play the close games room, and this is not where you want to sit if you're on this Humble Academy side.
Yeah, used both of his impacts. One was semi-successful, and then the other one was a huge fail. And it's no surprise that he's the first to fall. There is a follow-up kill as well, as Loud Esports find themselves an early 5v3 man advantage. Russo still holding the bottom of this attic. Gets a red nade indicator doesn't die, gets the swing as well on the person who threw the nade at him, and he kills him, but Lasmo is there for the eventual trade. Now 4v2 Nogwheel and Bart, only 2 smoke grenades for Nogwheel to throw, as Bart only has 1 nitro cell that he will use, but I don't think it went off. It doesn't matter because we see 2 kills go into Loud Esports' way. You know, that first kill onto Andrea just tipped off a bunch of dominoes. Loud Esports were immediately in, and they kept pushing Humble Academy. They did not give them a second to breathe on that defense.
I feel like that's going to replicate as well. Humble Academy are going back to the exact same site with the exact same operator lineup. It is a carbon copy from the previous round. Raku back on that Belusi, Mute for Bart, Struso on the Jaeger, Nogwheel on the Smoke, and surprise, surprise, Andrea on the Thunderbird. I don't know about the Thunderbird pick. Thunderbird requires you to take aggressive fights and then rotate back to site. We didn't see those, assuming they stayed alive. Now, Loud are going to start this in a 5 versus 4 because the Siege UI is stupid and I'm just messing with you. That's actually not true. If you look at the top of the screen, it's not a 5 versus 4. I just like that joke. It's funny. But Humble Academy on the defensive side could probably use a 5 versus 4. I'd like to see some aggression out of them, but some calculated aggression. There's no reason to overextend into situations you should not have any business being in. Raku notably pushing down on towards the first floor. I like this spot for them, but if they overextend into T2, maybe even T3, then you're in an awkward spot. Given the fact that they're reinforcing in towards the back of meeting, they should not be doing so, and I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, again, Humble Academy are in a very tough spot at the moment, especially because, you know, you and I both agreed that having like a 4-2 half would have been a little bit more respectable and a little bit better for Humble Academy to take onto their defense, but a 5-1 is very, very difficult to come back from, even though it's like just a 1-round difference from a 4-2. It's just, for Humble Academy, they need to find the mental fortitude to be able to come back from this. And, you know, by finding that mental fortitude, they need to be able to find some momentum on their defenses, which they haven't been able to find even on their attacks. So this defense should be the start of a lot of dominoes falling for them. I'm gonna keep using that reference because I have no other reference to use. They need to find something in this round, whether that be the first pick going in their way, in order for that momentum to start to kick off.
Momentum is a very pivotal factor in the game of Rainbow Six Siege. While it's not as much as you would see in maybe different games where economy is a factor, or like Rocket League where you can build off of a lead concurrently, in Rainbow Six, it's mainly off of mental. And mental is a massive part. Your team morale needs to stay high, and I don't think that's been the case here for the Humble Academy. Struso trying to take a long angle, unsuccessfully so. Oh, never mind. Oh, it's Raku getting that kill. Shark is down. There goes that Zofia. The vertical position on the boxes back there very susceptible to a flank that they were not watching. Now, Humble Academy have a man advantage. There's that 5 versus 4. It actually stays a 5 versus 4 and turns into a 5 versus 3. Lasmo is taken out on that kid's side. Nismo trying to turn it back. The swing unsuccessful thus far. The fire rate just not there for the LMG, and as they swing around, that will cost them their life. Andrea finishes them off with a spaz. This is an awful round to start things off here for Loud. Methix and Arbo left in a 2 versus 5. Nades being thrown in, but the ADSs still exist at the end of the attic, and Methix needs to find at least 2 or 3 kills on this kids and walk inside, or it's just the round done and dusted.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Yeah, like I said, for Humble Academy, all they really need is a pick into this round, because for the last few rounds that they've lost, they haven't been lucky in getting the first pick and going in their favor, apart from the very first round that they won. Here comes Bart with the Nitro Cell kill, so now we see Arabo in the 1v5 situation. Andrea on flashing red HP, but that is the only positive for Arabo in this round. Oh, he doesn't even get Andrea. It's actually Struso still peeking from the bottom of the attic as he's taken out behind his own shield, but again, he still has to worry. Araba has to still worry about that flank coming in from Raku, as Nogwheel is now taken out. So Andrea is still being alive, having the flashing red HP, but also Bart with the Mossberg hitting onto Araba. The swing coming in, he gets the mute. It's a triple kill on the round for the map, but it is another flank from Raku that closes out that round for Humble Academy. A little bit closer towards the end of that round, got a little bit scary, but only 10 seconds remain from the map, so he had no business clutching that whatsoever. But it is a round nonetheless for, as I mark it down right, for Humble Academy.
Loud on the attacking side fell just a little bit. I think it was a collapsing of their attack overall. They were trying that multi-dimensional push, which is usually a recipe for success and a catalyst to victory, but that time around it was the reason that they fell. They tried to overextend themselves, and they didn't have the manpower nor the firepower to do so. Some good shots landing as well on the Humble Academy side, along with some strong timing for Reiku specifically on that Melusi, who, by the way, now switches to the Aruni with... Please tell me it's the Mark 14 and not the P10 Roni or whatever the exact gun is, because the Mark 14 is such a better weapon nowadays. If you have a trigger finger, it's just superior. I'm really hoping, please switch to your primary, Reiku. I want to figure out what gun you're holding. Nonetheless, the Aruni as a whole is very good on the defensive side, allows you to eliminate a lot of utility, and gives you some information with that bulletproof camera that you can deploy wherever the heck you please, as long as it's on a hard surface. That's exactly what they do. End of long haul is the call. Overall, Humble Academy, I think, are in a good spot. They head to their secondary site, which is the bottom floor, after taking their second attempt on the top, but they still need 4 in a row, including the bottom floor twice, assuming they go here. Or, no, the bottom floor twice. Yeah, math exists.
Yeah. Reiku's still not showing his gun, so he's being very, very stubborn for you.
I know, right?
Sorry about that. He just doesn't want to show it. He's like, screw you, Daniel, screw you. But anyways, yeah. We do head into the basement site.
Oh, it's the P10. I hate it.
Oh, he's using the hollow. Hell no, bro. Alright, I can't.
Is it normal hollow? Please tell me it's normal. Please tell me it's not the normal hollow.
It's the normal hollow.
It's the normal hollow. Oh, he's not even using the Scorpion hollow. That's hollow B for all of you writing that down for your 1Xs. The Scorpion hollow, aka hollow B, is such a better holographic sight to use. Up into T3 goes Reiku, and without the Mark 14, I don't like this position. You run out of bullets easily if you shoot too quickly and incorrectly at that. The information given over as to Struce's whereabouts, trying to bait them out, but Reiku's just waiting here. If they drone this properly, Reiku's dead, and Humble Academy probably lose. If they don't, and he finds a kill, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah, Reiku goes T3, like you said, and if Loud Esports decide to push into Attic, which I doubt they are, because it looks like their focus is towards this lobby / freezer area. It looks to me like they're going to try for a laundry, a split take between laundry and freezer, and also have some hatches open in E-box just so that they can have that flank potential at the latter stages of the round from their attack. And you could tell from the drones that freezer is most definitely going to be a focus from them. And for a lot of fraggers, at least on the attacking side, freezer is a very common push, especially if you can get your kills, and especially if the defenders on the side of Humble Academy are playing as aggressive as they are. The first pick goes into Loud Esports' way, as Bart is the first player to fall, and that is actually your freezer player down and out for the count. So that opens up freezer for this attack, and it could potentially go into Humble Academy's favor in terms of control. And it sounds like, by the sound of those gunshots, Loud Esports have taken control of freezer.
I love the collapsing attack that we saw. Mismo takes the initial engagement on the fight. Oh, I thought that was the actual Ayana. It was not. Arbo does, however, fall. Down goes the Maverick. Reiku on that flank does find the kill. Again, flanking on the Aruni, this time instead of the Melusi. But Mismo still has freezer control. That's the most important part. Nade thrown in from Methix, trying to gain some control, and drops in towards supply. Good control gained, but does fall to Nagel, who has a good swing. Reiku with one of their own, using that P10 to the fullest extent possible, finds a triple kill on the round, looking to swing at a Baby Shark, who is left alone, does find the first, now in a 1 versus 3, but with just 15 seconds left, and a toxic Babe between them and the site, even with the diffuser in hand. This is almost an impossible ask. It is indeed, but they find the double kill. The swing through, looking for a third, has to swing into the long hallway, and unsuccessfully so, will fall. Humble Academy put themselves into 3 rounds, and need to just complete the rotation one more time in order to send us to OT.
Good round for Humble Academy, and as well as a good hold. I mean, it looked really, really odd, especially at the beginning with Bart being as aggressive as he was. He did at the bottom of those freezer stairs, yes, he did have a Mossberg, but also keep in mind that there is a hatch right behind him as well, set up just above him. And not only was he being pressured from the hatch, but he was also now being pressured from a Finka, and he decided to aggressively play that stairs position, knowing how hard Humble Academy wanted to play that. And not only that, but also you have a Mira facing freezer. You don't really need to play that as aggressively as he did, especially if you have a mirror there, you could just play behind the mirror, use that for intel, line up your shots. But he didn't do that. But it was a good hold from Humble Academy because you saw some fight back from the end. The most important kill for me was the swing from Nagul from elbow that denied that flank from the E-Box hatch. That was absolutely beautiful. Just smoke the Ayana, and then after that, everybody on the Humble Academy side knew where the rest of these Loud Esports was playing. They needed to take care of that little gray area, which was the player pushing in from E-Box hatch. They took care of it, and now they're able to focus on where the rest of this attack was coming from, and they handled it beautifully.
Unfortunately for Humble Academy, they will indeed have to play Meeting and Kitchen. Now, this is, again, their choice to go Meeting, just as Loud did, and understandably so. Again, Kitchen annoying. You don't want to play in the top floor of Small Tower, nor do you want to extend into Showers. I know you made a little bit of that point earlier. I've been making that point, I think, for 2 seasons here in Talent League, because, well, Showers sucks. Don't try and hang out in the Showers. You will fall to people pushing in from the Small Tower. Humble Academy opting not to do so, and will just extend a little bit in towards security, holding the kitchen side, along with the top floor in terms of the attic. You want to make sure you can hold down the attic as long as possible, and even if you don't die, you still want to stay there. The hatch, of course, a pivotal position to lock down, but with everything being thrown in here for Loud through the big tower, does this work out for them? Because they don't have that multi-dimensional push that you usually see out of sites, but if you're not going to have it, Meeting at Kitchen's the place to do it.
Yes, it is. So, like you said, I don't really favor this Showers extension neither. I actually really hate it. It's a really big area. It feels like it's a very small area. That's why it feels like that, and it's very compact. And so you have so many angles against you. Hallway again from that window. You also have the other window at the bottom of White Stairs, as we do see a nade prepped and put towards Struso, and he does take a little bit of damage from it. Arbo takes a little bit of damage. I'm not sure if that was from Struso. It doesn't look like he took it from a far out angle of a player holding a really long angle from the double doors of Meeting. That was a really long way of saying that he got shot from a long angle all the way from the Meeting double doors. But as I say that, Humble Academy get 2 kills going in their favor. That's Lasmo and Baby Shark down, so that's your Thermite and your Sledge off the board. But for the Thermite, he already did his job. The Sledge has not. That's 2 nades wasted, but Mad Doc, look at him. He's inside. He's just sneaking like a snake. Brutal Humble Academy players know this. He could as easily find a huge pick going in his way, but there you go. He is down and out for the count. Andrea's there to kill him. Mismo is there to find one. There goes another, this time further Maverick of Arabo and Loud Esports. They looked pretty dire at the beginning of this round, or well, when those picks weren't going their way, and they found a way to fight back.
They still have to take either site. The option seems to be, instead of Green Hall in towards Kitchen, Meeting through and through. Stage control now gained. There is not any plant denial here for the defensive side, but they have taken a hatch control. The shots through. Reiku gets the kill. Andrea swings as well. Good positioning from Humble Academy. Good coordination as well. Something we were massively missing from them in the first half of play. Is again the catalyst to their success, peeking up through the attic, taking that hatch control. I was talking about that earlier. That's why you hold it down for as long as humanly possible, or even back off and then retake. It's a win for the Humble Academy. They now just need the top and bottom floors as a W on the defensive side to send us to OT in map number 1.
Yeah, and for Loud Esports, we see the same issues that we saw from Humble Academy on their own attacks. It more so on the coordination side than it is from like what we just saw from Humble Academy on their attacks was just like basic intel gathering. There were a few rounds where it seemed like they didn't mesh well together. But for Loud Esports, this has been a consistent issue where they don't really, it's either they know how to open up rounds, they just don't know how to close them, or they don't know how to open up rounds at all. They're getting flanked. They don't watch their own flanks. They don't have flank drones set up. And again, like I said, it's been a consistent issue for them. But for Humble Academy, 3 rounds in a row. I said 4 rounds in a row. 3 rounds in a row for them, and that is surely a confidence booster for their side as they head on to dorms.
10 seconds remaining.
What do you think about Humble Academy's defense here? This is the exact same defense they've played now twice already. This is their 3rd time running a carbon copy of their operator lineup, and also a little bit of a copy in terms of their overall composition and the way they're playing. The bearing 9 for Andrea means that they're also holding out that spaz. And I understand why you want to take those close range engagements, but the spear is such a good weapon that I don't know why you give that up. I also don't know why people give up the spear when they're playing on the attacking side for Finka, which is exactly what's going on for Mispel. Again, spear's nuts, but LNG's still kind of broken, so I understand.
Yeah, just to answer your question, they lost this site once and they've also won it, so going here is a bit of a gamble, especially, well, you don't have basement open, but, I mean, it's not really about going here, it's just really mainly about the setup. They did this setup, in the last 2 rounds before this in which they went here. Again, they lost it once, they won it, they lost it once, and then they won it once, so it's a bit of a gamble to try the same thing because your opponent's gonna know exactly what to do against it this time. The Nomad being the change here for Loud Esports as they get the first pick with that Nomad, followed up with the kill from Mattox as they get a hot start into this round. There is no trade from Humble Academy until now, but as 3 bodies lost to Humble Academy, and we finally see a trade from them. Here comes another one. Both of the SAS brothers getting a kill each with the Mossbergs. Here comes one with the... Oh my god, they're coming back into this round. It did not look good for them. Now with 2v2, I can't believe what I'm seeing at all.
You better believe it, 1B. It's still happening. It is still the 2 versus 2. The swing almost successful. Last Motion just held the angle. Baby Shark, however, has gained control in towards kids' dorms. Nagel waiting in towards the pit. The Mossberg opening up the rotate, throw Toxic Babe in. That'll go too far, though, and allow Baby Shark to push even further forward. Taking almost 50 damage from that is Baby Shark, but they have gained a Kona station to assist. Last Moo in good position as well to deny the retake back up the white stairs, but it's the rotate all the way around through main. Last Moo has absolutely no idea, and the information should be there for Bart, who's looking to swing through and finds the kill. Baby Shark, 1 versus 2. This was such a good round for Loud, but it's now fallen apart for them. He has to swing onto a shotgun, no less, and it's not a fight you want to take. He does find the first, but has just a singular point of HP. He cannot afford to take a fight, nor any damage, and Nagel with the SMG-11 and the Mossberg is in a perfect position to do so. The swing through, he gains even more HP, but has finally hit one of those air jabs. The diffuser will go down, but it has to be held down. Baby Shark swinging through, staying alive somehow, but again, Nagel has that free ability to retake wherever the heck they please. Baby Shark does not care. Loud take map 1.
That is a bit of a heartbreaker. That is such a heartbreaker for Humble Academy. They were very close to bringing that into overtime. That was almost a valiant clutch from the SAA brothers, getting a kill basically almost at the same time with the Mossbergs, but again, just it not ringing true for them, and they suffer a 7-4 loss on their own map pick. Actually, that was their own map pick. So now they go straight on to Loud Esports map picks, which is Bank. But before we go into Bank, we are going to head on to a little 5-minute break. Give these players some time to rest. Give them some time to eat their snacks, to eat their gummy bears, to drink their Powerades. And we're going to do the same thing as should you. But do not go anywhere because, like I said, we will be back in 5 minutes, no more, no less. So see you soon.
Just choke machine soldiers here. They leave 2 people up top, they push down below. I mean, they're coming to West Main now. You've got Agent here with a shotgun on West Main, and Korgo just gets that kill. He gets a double kill! Oh my god, Korgo's popping off with that triple kill.
If Oxity would know, then boy oh boy would he be worried.
Well, it's actually going to be Mr. Easter to take out Spooky.
My lord! Thank you, Dallas! Thank you! Boy oh boy! Boy, Havoc, you will dream bad about this one for years to come. I am absolutely amazed. Like, great congrats to Mr. East and stuff, but yes.
Matt is get very aggressive. Christmas did spot out the player out there, and Oxy D is able to take down Joey. This could be the perfect time for this. So he's just prepped it just so that when the players melee it, expecting something, they get something completely different. Grenade does come through.
But we'll be able to escape, and if you look up there, here's Coinsold taking out the depth hat. And Dallas will fall finally on from Oxy D, as he already has his third kill up on this round. It's all down to Mr. Easter for gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Going to be ideal, although it did force back the attack just for a little bit longer. A lovely shot by Doki, though. That's exactly what he wanted. He's going to be able to fall back with the rotation. Going to leave it, yeah, going to leave it open. He's not going to playing around the cover to try and hide his fallback. He doesn't get caught off by the attack. Now, got to be careful with these long angles. We saw what Visu were able to do with it. Quick trade going through. Doki able to re-pick that kill up for his team. Oh, and as well as finding another one onto Ethan's. That's a lovely triple kill for Doki in this round. So
He's full white flashed it, but the smoke is just denying any sort of push from Kraken. He's still in that area, and Doki just finished up with a 4K from Doki that round.
indicator that someone is doing something cheeky, something funny, but JTT finds the first pick, gets an injure as well. He'll secure that kill. I believe the Fingertools trying to pick themselves up. It wasn't really forced, it's actually opened, and he's found himself third. No way! He swung hip fire with the SMG-11 to make it 4, and
And Super Mike.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Talent League. I'm 1B, joined by my co-caster, Time to Light. And if you missed the first map, don't worry about it. We're going to head straight into the second map just in a little bit, which is Bank. But if you've missed the first map, It was a 7-4 win going into Loud's favor. And Time to Light, what were your opinions on that first map, at least for the side of Humble Academy?
If I'm humble, I'm not feeling great going into the second. First map was meh for them, to say the best. First half was bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The only map they won was when they started with a 5 versus 4 advantage, or the only round they won was when they started with the 5 versus 4 advantage. Into the second half, it looked a little bit better. They won 3 rounds in a row to bring it from that 6-2 position to, well, 6-4. Then they lost. It wasn't great. We head into Bank, and as we head into the map, 1B, Bank is much different than what we saw in Oregon, especially for the squads. Loud picked one of the extra maps that are not Club and Oregon. Do you think that this could favor them a lot more than Oregon, or is it just going to be a blowout as we'd expect?
That's the thing though. I'm not too sure. You know, Loud Esports took Humble Academy's own map, and whether that's down to Humble Academy not scrimming it enough or not being prepared for what Loud Esports brought to them, that's a whole nother story. That's something that if Humble Academy would like to comment on it, then they could, but I'm not too sure. As for Bank, I don't know. It doesn't like I want to have optimism, but I don't at the same time because Bank and Oregon operate in a very different manner, but both maps are like they kind of operate in the same manner as well. Both maps are very huge. They allow for a lot of roaming. They're not attacker sided whatsoever. As I am going to ignore the first 2 bans because it is Thatcher and Habana, and usually on this map they are just kind of the expected bans on here. You do see Kaid followed up with that, and then the last ban is going to be from Loud. But like I said, I don't have a lot of optimism for Humble Academy here compared to, especially from what I saw in Oregon.
I'm favoring Loud. My prediction, I know you didn't ask, but prediction's Loud 7-2. They start on the defensive side on their own map pick. It's Bank. It should be a relatively simple win for them. I'd expect a 5-1 and then 2-1 split between the two halves. That's my expectation. Of course, I'd love to be proven wrong. Humble Academy are the 3rd ranked team coming into this in terms of their standings throughout the season. Loud just behind them in 5th. Again, Loud have already won a map, so they have at least moved themselves up 1 point. Humble Academy need to win this one in order to move themselves up to 2nd. That, or they move all the way down from 3rd into 4th, with Loud overtaking them and going up to 2nd.
Attackers need to locate and
also, I'm a part of the staff predictions. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I am a part of it, and I did pick Loud Esports to win. So if they win it, I'll give them a cookie. I'm not kidding. I will give you guys a cookie. So if you're watching this back, remind me to give you one. But anyway,
you're gonna pay shipping across the U.S. into Europe just for a single cookie. Well, 5 because 1 per player. But wow,
yeah,
that's
look, I want to be a winner in my predictions, and I'm not a winner so far. So if Loud Esports can help propel me to be a winner, you know, I'll take it any chance I get. But we are gonna head into the first site, which is going to be on the basement defense. And we've seen this site a lot, especially in comp play. This hole is kind of unique, especially with that shield right in front of that rotation hole where Andrea is, or not Andrea. Sorry, I keep calling him Andrea, but Arabo is on that smoke. But again, not anything too different on this defense so far.
I'm not seeing something to really note in terms of out of the blue things to bring up. One note for the attacking side is the Fuse. Now, Fuse going into the bottom floor is odd because there's a lot more soft breach than you'd think. Not much that you can use, but the floor you can open up and play Swiss cheese looking to take control. That's what Andrea is almost certainly going to try and pull off. The rest of the squad bringing what you'd usually expect heading into the bottom floor. A lot of top floor control taken, which is strong for Humble, but also means that they have to take a lot of time off the clock, and there's already a minute gone. They barely have entered the first floor, and they don't even have control in towards this blue side. A lot of utility dedicated here to this first floor from the Loud defense. I like the idea. I don't know about the execution, though. And this is an interesting decision. We're running Jaeger shotgun. Okay.
You haven't seen this strat before? On the basement stairs?
I haven't seen it work all that well. Methic's looking to lock it down. Finally does find one. It's an opener for Loud, but it shouldn't work. That's the point. It shouldn't, yet it is anyway.
Bomb
Yeah,
located
it's
by
just
attackers.
not Loud. Sorry, Humble Academy just pushing right into the shotgun. That shotgun, it's actually a very good shotgun, especially if you're pushing straight into it like that when it's such a tight corner on those blue stairs. There's a lot of utility being expended by Loud on those blue stairs as well. They want to keep Matchbox safe, but again, he is going to be down and out for the count so far. But for Loud Esports, they do regain that man advantage. Mismo is there to get a pick, but there goes Andrea with the quick fire trade, and now we see a 3v3 between both of these teams. But again, for Humble Academy, what was the issue on the first map seems to be replicated on to Bank, as you know, they do get those picks going in their favors, but there's also been a lot of picks going into Loud Esports' favor. And if you look at the kit of Loud Esports versus what Humble Academy wants to do, which is push into server and get an easy plant down as they open up a breach onto that main wall, you know, you would favor Loud Esports to win it. They have a nitro cell. Now they have only 2 smoke grenades. One is being used, so that is going to choke out a lot of time on this Humble Academy attack. And the big play has to come from Andrea here. He is the wild card because Nagrio and Raku are right next to each other, and Andrea is like upstairs on the other side of the map.
The nade though, that domes down Baby Shark. They cannot afford to use these Adrenal Surges because you take twice the amount of damage while Adrenal Surge while in a toxic bait. Last week, finding that opener in the second phase of this, and the swing another on towards him. It's Reku in a 1 versus 3 with no time and no HP. They do use the Adrenal Surge to pick themselves back up from the DBNO state, but it's too late. Too long for this world. Not great as an opening attack for the Humble Academy on a map that is not theirs, and a defensive-sided map at that. Not a good first for the map disadvantaged attacking side.
Yeah, it all started with that first pick happening on the at the top of blue stairs with that Jaeger with the GIG and Shotty. Again, not a good idea to be pushing into a shotgun, whether that be the Mossberg or the M590, as a lot of people would call it on the SES, and then again the GIG and shotgun that Jaeger and Bandit do have. It's not a wise idea to be pushing into that without clearing the utility at the top of that blue stairs, and they didn't. You saw the floors push straight into that, and there were still 2 Jaeger ADSs on that main doorway. You have nades, you could use those. Instead, Humble Academy, they got impatient, and specifically it was Bart to get impatient, and he was the one to push straight into Mismo's line of sight on the top of those stairs. But we are gonna head into the conference office on the 2nd floor, and for Loud Esports, it looks to be your run-of-the-mill setup like it was in Basement. They have rotations in the janitor closet. They have an extension towards the elevator hallway, the soda machine hallway, and that's really about it for this defense. Humble Academy needs to find a way to break it down.
What do you think? Do you think Humble Academy can bring this back? I know I gave you my prediction, 7-1, 7-2. Do you think it's going to be that good? Loud maybe losing a little bit here, because they looked relatively good on that first defensive round. Humble Academy not gaining a lot of control early enough, and I think that was the main catalyst to them. Yeah, they took a long time to push, but they also lost a lot of those gunfights. An odd decision here from Loud to really take control towards Square with head holes as well. I'm going to say it's a little questionable in terms of being safe on the defensive side, because most of the time you don't run that, and you could be susceptible to that later on.
Yeah, but to answer your questions again, I said it at the beginning, I don't give their chances, and that first attack kind of proved it. It mirrors what happened on Oregon, where it was like, it wasn't really map control that they were struggling with, it was time and also picks going in their way. They just didn't really have any openers going their way at the beginning of those attacking rounds, or well, towards the latter stages of it, and they allowed Loud Esports, especially even when Humble Academy got those advantages, they allowed Loud Esports to easily find their way back into the game. But for Loud Esports, you know, I have to be fair here in my analysis, when Loud Esports found their way onto the attack, you know, they allowed Humble Academy back into the game very easily. Mismo being the first pick here. There goes a follow-up from Struso, and as I talk about Humble Academy struggling with openers, they find 2 off rip.
Get wrecked. That's all I have to say. Caster's Curse. Loud is getting Caster's Curse by 1B. That's the position there, and Andrea swinging behind with a Mark 14 in hand and a 2.5 on it. Usually people run the 3x or the 2x. That's the current call, at least for the most of meta. Methix playing towards vending is saved by Lasmu, who actually finds a second on the flank, but it's a finish onto Methix from behind, completely unaware of Reiku's position, and Lasmu in a now 1 versus 3 with Baby Shark down is not a good position for the Melusi. Yeah, 2 impact grenades, allowing them to retake on rotates if they want, but the information should be there here for Humble, and, well, with the lockdown there on the flank. This round should be over. Still locking down the current. Wait, does find another onto Andrea and doesn't take all that much damage. Yeah, down to 50 HP, but there is still one outside. They have to clear both those that planted and the one that ran outside. The planter retaking up towards those square stairs, and Lasmu just has not gotten back onto the site, completely unaware that one's repelling. This round should be over. I know I said it once and I was retaking on that, but at this point, that should do it, especially with the current position for Lasmu in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, both of these attackers are repelled on these north side windows. One is at the top of square, and then Bart is on these executive office windows with the OSHA shield, or one of the hallway connector, and then he repelled to the side. Got that kill onto Lasmo, and now we see both of these teams tied up. But we go into the 3rd round, and the 3rd round is going to be for Loud. They're going to go back to that executive lounge CEO office site that they went to last round, and it wasn't, it wasn't really, there wasn't really anything wrong with their hold. They just surrendered picks very early on to Humble Academy. In Humble Academy, they do attack slow, but once they get the first picks, you can tell that it propels them to, they do win those rounds. It propels them to win a round.
They're going back to the top floor here, 1B. I know I talked about this before, mainly in previous playdays. I don't like when teams go back to the same site with a similar composition, if not the same composition. I brought it up very lightly last map because it wasn't as extreme for either of the teams. The defensive side's overall looking fairly good. But when teams go back to the exact same site for a similar composition and don't change all that much, that allows for the attacking side to do almost a carbon copy of what they've done before. Now, Loud, notably, are switching up a little bit about their defense, but not as much as I'd like to see. They're setting up the exact same rotates, head holes, everything between the 2 rounds. Even the head holes across into square. They are not reinforcing the second wall on left square. I don't get it. Why try the exact same thing over and over again and expect a different result? That, by definition, is insanity.
Yeah, but Loud Esports are insane, not just mentally, but also in their gameplay. So, let's see how this round turns out. I'm not very hopeful because, again, they did go with the same comp, and like you said, a lot of teams, if the defense goes with the same comp and any attacking team reads into this, they know exactly what to do against this comp, and it really comes down to who can hit their shots the best. If Humble Academy can, or if Loud Esports can. And last round, Loud Esports, Lasmo was the only one to really hit his shots into that round, but for Humble Academy, they were able to get that round off the mark. It was a really good plant, especially from the OSA, I believe. But again, I'm not really too hopeful about this defense from Loud, but I'm not really too hopeful from this attack from Humble Academy. As I say that, they get the first pick, and it is Reiku to pick up Mismo for the opener of this round.
You really can't talk negative about Humble Academy, because whenever you do, they start to find kills. This is kind of like torturing Loud Esports. There should be a way in which casters aren't allowed to talk anymore. Andrea finding the kill onto Baby Shark. That's another opener going the way of Humble Academy. The top floor defense not working out very well for Loud. I'd suggest switching things up, but Nagwell falling. Down goes a Thermite. That's the entirety of their hard breaching down. Not bringing any hard breach tools is a massive disadvantage for them. Notably, the far side of that square wall is able to be opened up, and Arbo gets the down, but does not get the finish onto the IQ, and well, with the swing and the little bit of a boost in terms of the Adrenal Surge, they'll be able to be picked up, and Bart using that retake and the rotate, for the kill. Why? Why do you create rotates and peek holes that you don't use yourselves? It costs you your life. Loud's defense is questionable. This was their map pick, yet they seem completely unprepared.
Yeah, that just seems like some ranked play. Like you see your favorite teams use a specific strat, and so you copy it. Oh, Andrea, that's a nice shot on Semantics with the marksman rifle, marksmaning him up, and there you go. He grabs a second on that flank. But again, that just seemed like a ring play to me. It seemed like a team copying their favorite professional team's strat and then using it in ranked. You know, not using the strat to its advantages, not using the picos. And Loud Esports, they use that same comp again. They use the same strats as last time, but they look completely lost, and maybe it's time for a change. And it seems that they agree with me, so they're gonna go to staff room and open area. And to be honest, I'm not really too versed on, not I wouldn't say I'm not too versed in the sites on bank, but for staff room and open area, it's a bit of a gray spot for me. I know a lot of teams pick it, but some teams don't like it at all. Some teams like to just pick basement and the second floor, and then maybe you'll see them go into archives tellers, and then some teams don't, and then those same teams won't ever go to staff room and open area at all.
My call for Loud here is why not go to the bottom floor? Yes, they will only be able to play the bottom floor once more, assuming they win it on that single attempt. But I don't understand why you wouldn't immediately go to the bottom floor and try and gain that advantage early. Now, at the same time, Loud tried the exact same defense on the top floor, and it didn't work. I'm sorry, you tried relatively similar flanks, it just didn't work. They will not try it for a third time, which I think is a good way to adapt, but it took them an extra round that it probably shouldn't have. They should have gone to open area in the previous round, and in towards kitchen this time as well. Questionable decisions, but hey, you do you, I suppose. Loud, it's their rounds that they're losing, not mine, and this is only a best of 2, so this is the only map they'll play for the remainder of this series anyway. It's just rounds, I suppose. Now, on their defensive side here, they'll extend a little bit towards the bottom floor and around towards square as well. Understandably so, but they need to find opening kills. They can't allow themselves to go into yet another, maybe 5 versus 3, as we've seen in previous rounds. And for some reason, they're opening up peak holes again. 1B, why do they do this? I don't get it. There's no reason. Insert Cardi B saying, what is the reason?
You know, I haven't heard that meme in a long time, so that's pretty funny. I need to find that gift. I actually need to find the whole video on. I'm pretty sure it's all over YouTube at this point. But yeah, I'm not really too sure. Let's see. I want to see if Loud Esports will actually use these picos, but I don't really know. They didn't use them last time. This time, maybe a little bit different. Maybe they had a little bit of a team talk during the prep phase about how to properly use picos, but I don't know. It looks like Mismo is going to use the Pico that he didn't make, but he has vertical angles being opened up above him. And one thing that I do want to talk about for the side of Humble Academy is not really the Sledge pick making those vertical angles, but you also have Andrea on the 0-0 cams getting so much info on where a lot of these players are positioned at, and like they are easy to spot, but sometimes teams are in the heat of the moment, so they won't be able to spot them in time. But also keep in mind, not only are these Argus cams there for intel, but they can also get rid of defensive utilities, and that's why his Sam Fisher's special ability combined with those hard breach utils are really good together, especially on a map like Bank.
It basically makes him both a Thatcher and a hard breacher, just in one operator. It's a kind of nuts combination, and a very undervalued one in both regular competitive play and in just your ranked games. I'm not seeing the pick rate for 0 increase as much as it really should with the addition of the hard breach util, but we still see fraggers being picked up at exponentially higher amounts. Nade being thrown in from Reiku, trying to find the kill, is unsuccessful in doing so, but Sruso finds a nade kill of their own, trades back and forth as Loud initiate the man advantage, but still 3 frags overall, drops the mute, and does not allow for any more of those C4s available. The primary hard breach on the attacking side drops as well. That leaves just Andrea in terms of hard breach availability. Does Mythics get cleared? It seems like they will, yes. Andrea from below gets the kill as well.
Yeah, that's a nice little bit of initiative taken by Andrea. We head into the last 10 seconds of this round. A couple of kills going into either, well, not really either team. Mismo gets a crucial kill onto a player rushing into kitchen, and all he has to do for 1 second is hide, but he can't hide no longer because they're getting planted down. But it's Andrea with a huge 4K, or was that a 4K or was it an ace? I think that was a 4K, but nonetheless a huge round from the man who picked Sam Fisher himself. And not only was it like good initiative, but also some really good flanks taken from Andrea, especially right behind Miasmo on those blue stair flanks. And for Humble Academy, that's their third round one in a row. And for Loud Esports, we have no answer for them. And this is their map pick as well.
They finally make the decision to go down to the bottom floor, which I think took a little bit too long, in my personal opinion. But again, hey, you do you. To answer your question, by the way, it was a 3K from Andrea. They only got 3. It was stolen away. It was 2 from Struso that stole the possibility of the 4 or ace. But Humble Academy still had the advantage, and it's splitting kills as well, not somebody taking massive control alone. Andrea, assuming they were going to the bottom floor in the previous round, originally hovered the knock and switched to the 0 after they selected open area. Now, hovers the 0 and switches onto the knock as they go back to the bottom floor. If Loud lose this, they lose the map. I'm sorry, it's just a fact. You should not be losing 4-2, maybe even 5-1 on the defensive side of your own map pick, especially when Humble Academy looked much more confident than we originally assumed. Now, they were looking to pick more of the normal maps, i.e. Oregon and Club, to try and save strats for other leagues, which I understand, but Loud just underestimating them, and heavily so, should not be a situation we're in.
Yeah, this doesn't look good from Loud Esports. You know, at the beginning, we both made the prediction that based off of what we both saw on Oregon, Humble Academy could just as well drop this map as well because of both Oregon. Oh my God! Okay, Mathox getting a little bit dangerous with the shotgun, the DLGN shotgun. You know, the difference here is that his utility has been like exploited off rip, so now he has nothing really to protect him. Humble Academy making quick work of this blue stairs hold from Loud Academy, more specifically from the Jaeger, as Mathox is still flashing red HP. He is gonna still be holding the tight angle, but he doesn't hold it any longer. He gets impatient, and there is Reiku to collect him on that screen. Reiku does take a lot of damage himself, but it is Humble Academy with the early lead so far into this round, and now their next focus, if that was their blue stairs take, they're going to be heading into Nismo's direction, which is server. Ooh.
They haven't cleared out Nismo, though, who finds the opener with that AUG, but needs more. Down goes yet another Magnet, but it doesn't land in time. They will find the down and the kill. Good combination and coordination yet again from Humble Academy that we really missed in the first half of Oregon, notably. It looked a little bit better in the second half. It has now looked amazing here on Bank. Andrea, looking to push everybody out, surprisingly brings the hard breach tools rather than the nades, but understandably so, because they were not bringing the 0, they decide to bring the hard breach tool again, and now switch sides completely. They'll rappel down that jewelry half and push around towards the garage side, really pincering this Loud defense, and we're seeing multi-dimensional attacks yet again, and Humble Academy are looking good while doing.
Yeah, a 3v3 though between both of these teams. Either one of these teams can take it. 3 smoke grenades in the hands of Arabo and a Nitro Soul in the hands of Lasmo, but a Humble Academy, they look very, very good this run, especially with the amount of control that they do have on that server side. Smoke grenades do go out, so it's going to delay a little bit of time, choke off some health of those attackers that stepped into those toxic babes. Forest drones go out as 2 kills, 1 for each team, rings true on the scoreboard. 2v2 Nagua and Bart versus Baby Shark and Arabo. A smoke grenade left to be used, and there it is used. Baby Shark gets the kill into Nagua, who rushes into sight. The second to rush into sight is Bart, but it is Baby Shark to get a nice little 2K in this round, the most important 2K of them all, because those were the closers.
Loud finally put another defensive round on the board, but it's very difficult for them to do so, and I think Humble Academy really allowed them to pull that off. The difficulty that Humble Academy had was not pressuring quickly enough on the server side, allowing for Andrea to find multiple kills. While yes, they found one on the far side, it was immediately traded because the entirety of Loud wasn't focused on that one general position. Humble Academy took too dang long to push as well. The Toxic Babes did not have to be used until 42 seconds left in the round. That means, by proxy, that Humble Academy as a whole spent 15 to 25 seconds, if not more, just waiting outside a server with the entirety of it clear and knowing the general areas of the entirety of Loud Esports for absolutely no reason. Because that means the Toxic Babes, with 3 remaining and a 15-second efficacy rate for all 3 of them, means you're out with 42 seconds remaining. That was the issue they ran into. Humble Academy lose the round. And I don't usually like saying that teams deserve to lose that round, but they took too long. And they allowed themselves to be put into a meat grinder later on. They took too dang long to push it. They could have opened things up earlier on and forced the exothermic charge through, and then, by proxy, allowing the toxic babes to be used a little earlier and pushing themselves in a little later. Then it would have worked. It didn't. Loud Esports win the round, and they deserve to win that. Humble Academy, I think, deserve to lose it a little bit more, though.
Yeah, that was a really awkward push from the Humble Academy side. I thought they could win it, especially with the amount of control that they had on the map. But once they got to the 30-second mark, and Lasmo still had about, like, I want to say, like, 2 smoke grenades left. Humble Academy, no urgency, no pep in their step, nothing at all from them. And yeah, like you said, that's exactly how they lost the round. But now they have a chance to take the half 4-2, or we could see Loud Esports take the half 3. Well, not take the half, but draw the half up 3-3 as we head into open area for our last sight of the half. As you know, after this round, Humble Academy will go onto the defense, Loud will go onto the attack as per the rules of Rainbow Six Siege. And
Rainbow Six Siege, are we in Valorant now?
So say, like, you know, the little sad face.
Sad, that's Sag.
You know what? Don't correct me.
That's Sag. Rainbow Six Siege. There's a D in that word.
No. Nah.
It was a valiant effort, Bumpy, as it was for Humble in the previous round. A little less than your joke attempt, but still there. I feel Humble Academy's attack looks much better on sites that are not the bottom floor, though. They're allowed to collapse much easier. There's a lot more soft breach potential as well, which is exactly what Lasmu's holding down. Does not find the kill, though. That's information gained now for the Loud defense. Methics is just waiting inside of Janitor, and understandably so, but they need to either clear this out on the Humble Academy side or vacate it entirely and allow themselves to just take elsewhere. They can't allow for Methics to retake from a different position and, well, find a kill. Nismo dies under, and that's a terrible position for the Jaeger to play. Lack of utility forces them out. And now, with multiple players down below, including Andreas still towards the server side, they will fall, not clearing out Lasmu into the 4 versus 3 with Humble Academy up a man.
Yeah, not good positioning from the Jaeger whatsoever. He gets himself caught out, and he is the first pick into this round, followed up by Mattox. Andrea is going to be the one to fall on the side of Humble Academy. As we see, Humble Academy, they have a 4v3 men advantage, but for, you know, the positive for Loud Esports, they do have 3 full health players, and for the side of Humble Academy, they have 2 players who have taken some damage, and these SMGs could do a lot of damage to these flashing red HP / almost half HP players that persist on the side of Humble Academy. 15 seconds left persist for the attackers. There goes one for Lasmo. He claims one of those players who suffered a lot of damage. Arbo there is going to fall. 5 seconds left for the attackers. Now with 2v2, Nago taking a lot of damage. Bart able to get that kill onto the castle, and it's a nice from Bart. Oh my god, how does he clutch that? I'm not too sure, but look at this. Boom.
Oh! What is that shot from Bart? They took out the planter as well. Somehow he wins that. The diffuser was not able to go down with just, what, 0.3 seconds on the clock? He gets the kill across. There's no way he should have gotten that kill. Wumby, Humble Academy take the half by the hair of their chins.
Yes, the hair of their chins. What's the story behind
Three
that?
Little Pigs.
The 3 Little Pigs. Yes. Got you. Okay, you know what? I have not read any children's story in a very long time. So there you go. But yeah, that was a very close round for Humble Academy to get, like you said, 0.3 seconds. I actually did not look at the clock. I only just recognized the time when you said it. So yeah, 0.3 seconds for Bart to be able to. That was an insane click though. You know what that reminds me of? If you watch a little bit of NAL, DP Fire, the 1v2 clutch that he had while his teammate was down, where Canadian was like in pillars and he just like domed him all the way from.
Wumby, you say if you watch NAL, but you reference a single round through 9 play days.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, like I remember that round just reminded me of that. It has its own clip and everything, but yeah, Speak.
I'll go look up the clip, but it is reminiscent of the Astralis-esque era where in NAL specifically, and again, this is European League, so maybe y'all don't watch the NAL, and understandably so. It's played on the West Coast. Who the heck cares about NA teams? I'll give you a hint. All the NA people going to the major. Speaking of which, if you're going to the major, hit me up on Twitter. I want to say hi to people because the major's awesome, and meeting new people also is as well, in person especially, because, you know, gaming environments exist. But I digress. Humble Academy, this is the defensive side of their opponent's map pick. They shouldn't have the advantage here, but they do anyway. Already up 2 rounds, already up a man as they drop Methix, who is 1-7 through 7 rounds of play, this being said 7th. Not a great position for the Loud Fragger to be in, especially after the DCs from the previous map. Yeah, they won the map, but it was a little bit more labored than it probably should have been. Humble Academy are in a good spot to start things off.
Yeah, not the best start for Loud, not the best start for Maddox as well, as he has been the main sufferer for a lot of the first picks for Humble Academy. I mean, I would say that he didn't really have that bad or that good of a match on Oregon as well. It was pretty average from him, but on this in Bank, it just hasn't translated well for him. It's not been his game, and that's okay. Some fraggers have those type of games and some fraggers don't. You know, that's just the tough life of being a fragger, you know. But anyways, Loud Esports, again, not having the best of starts to this round for Humble Academy. They do have some players who are down to a couple knocks of HP. For Struso, he is almost to half, and for Rayton, he's not really even close to half, as the grenade is cooked. Struso doesn't even try to move, and he is going to be the first kill for Humble Academy. Bart holding the top of blue stairs with 2 ADS's devices supporting him, and he probably also has a mute jammer stuck to his feet as well, just to deny drones coming towards him, I believe.
He should, at least. You'd hope so. Let's put it that way. Loud looking to gain some control, unsuccessfully so. Bart will take the kill with the Mossberg, dropping Arbo, and it's again a situation that Loud do not want to be in. Now on the attacking side, their issues compounding. They do have 3 different players looking into 3 different positions of attack, but Bart on a flank, walking through this Archives position. Baby Shark, however, does remove it into the 3 versus 3, and a good position for Loud to be in, assuming they can drop and gain some control. The answer, they cannot. Nagel with 1 and a second as well, getting 2 on the Thorn. It's down to just Baby Shark, who won't even find a kill, much less damage that they needed. Andrea will shut them down with the MP5 SD in hand, the Echo coming from behind their caves, notably behind the armored truck, and putting Humble Academy onto 5.
Yeah, that first pick going into Loud's favor, especially that being onto Maddox, that extra men for Loud Esports could have most definitely helped them in that round, could have given them a leg up, especially if he wasn't the first kill. The first kill would have gone into Loud's favor because they got a pick immediately after that. So in this round, what I'm expecting to see from Loud Esports, more specifically Maddox, is not to be an early pick very early on. We just saw them switch onto the attack, so that was the very first round on the attack. You know, try and make it maybe your last, or maybe make it so that it doesn't happen too much, because if this keeps on happening, we may not be able to see a comeback from Loud Esports. But on the side of Humble Academy, we are going to head into staff and open area, and an interesting pick that I'm seeing off rip, our observer is highlighting it very nicely, is Bart on the Oryx. And if you know Bank, especially with the reworks that we've had, or the more recent reworks that we've had to Bank more recently, there are a lot of hatches on this map, and Oryx if Oryx doesn't really have a staple map, I'd argue that either this or Oregon are his staple map. More so on Bank than Oregon.
Especially on the first floor of Bank as well. You have so many hatches that you can go up to on towards site, or around towards flanks, from either the bottom floor in towards the first, or the first up towards the second, getting so much control that you otherwise would not have, and allowing you to retake and rotate into 4 or 5 different positions that you usually are not able to take. I'm going to note right off the bat, you have 2 different hatches in towards open area. You have one in towards blue and another in towards the lounge / main lobby that you can just retake and rotate up through from the bottom floor itself, plus more past that if you decide to use them. You also have the bailiff to open those up if you decide to use it. They've already done so. Now the question now remains, has the Oryx been detected? If it has, it may not matter. Wait a second. They're getting the diffuser down. Last move has gone uncontested. They have vacated the site. The diffuser is going down and has been planted just a minute into the round. What is going on? It's a post-plant, Wumby.
Whoa, 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 Humble Academy, what are you doing? So many kills going to Loud Esports' way. Meesmo and Mattox, Meesmo and Mattox get a kill each. And now Bart is theoretically in a 1v4, now 1v3 as he gets a nice headshot onto Mattox. But a wild swing from the ace is there to catch him, and that was a very fast round. It was, you know what, good intuition from Loud Esports to recognize that that site was that weak that they could get a plant like that without Humble Academy knowing. Shame on Humble Academy for allowing such a plant to exist, especially when you have operators on the board whose main job is to like watch for those type of things, and nobody's watching for it.
You have to keep an eye on that, and with a lack of information on the defensive side, notably with their overall defensive composition, that's the issue that Humble Academy are going to run into. Now, they did have a massive advantage heading into the half, so they'll be able to go back to the top floor without too many woes. I'm a little surprised that the Echo wasn't used as well as I thought, nor the Valkyrie, but Andrea probably should have had those down and in different positions. This time, it's Andrea back onto the Echo like we saw in the first round of play in the second half. I like this decision, bringing out the Japanese op rather than the American op, both in terms of technology, because the Japanese are miles ahead of the Americans. It's just a plain fact. Plus, you know, the Echo's kind of nuts.
Yeah, that was just insane. Again, you have the Valkyrie, you have the Echo in play. You have intel on the board. They have a lot of intel to their advantage. The Echo drones combined, I don't think I need to say how much intel that is. 3 cameras plus 2 Echo drones. And yes, the Echo drones can't go invisible no more, but the Echo drones still can deny a plant. They still can give you intel, and you can feed that intel to your teammates through your microphones. And it just seemed like for Humble Academy, their brain just, not their brain really, but yeah, their brain just kind of shut off at that moment. And Loud Esports were able to take full advantage of it, and they got the plant off very easily, especially with the Echo being in play, and also Humble Academy having a lot of Nitro Souls on the board. But will Loud Esports be able to replicate that same type of attack on this second floor? I feel like it'd be a lot harder to replicate it on the second floor than it would be to do it on staff open area, as Andrea's Echo drone, it got spotted by Meesmo. Meesmo's looking straight at it too. Or not
looking head. No, it's not even the headshot that lands. It's the nade onto Nagwal. The Aruni falls. Nagwal's 2-8, by the way. And down goes the original Yokai. Down to just a single Yokai available here for the defensive side. Reiku does get the trade back, and down goes that Finka. That's a massive opening pick for the defensive side. You know, if I'm Humble Academy, I take that trade. Meesmo's been fragging recently. Nagwal really hasn't, and the Aruni utility's already been thrown down. That's a good trade for Humble.
Most definitely. Nagwal hasn't had the best of games so far, like you said, but also the Aruni not having a lot of utility in order to really stave off pushes. She's just there to be, well, an extra gun, and also she does have those laser gates, so they can bring utility if you so want them to. Whereas for the Finka, you have the Gon 6, you have the LMGs, you have the frag grenades, and combine that with the adrenal surges, and there you go. That's a really good up off the board. As we say that, Bart gets a kill onto a player heading up the main stairs. There have been a lot of kills on the board for both of these teams in the recent seconds, but all of them have gone basically into Loud's favor as we head into a 1v3 man advantage for the side of Loud Esports. Struso in this 1v3, the lone Jaeger, the lone player, the main hope for Humble Academy to edge onto match point, as overtime looks all the much sweeter for Loud Esports. 30 seconds left, and these could be the most painful 30 seconds.
It's 1 versus 3 though. This is more than possible. The swing, oh, unsuccessful. Nice combination of attack for Loud Esports. You see the swing from the ace as the shots were attempting to be landed across. They were unsuccessful in doing so, for all of you who did not see. Good positions from Loud, good opening takes, and a good round as a whole. They've brought it back to within just a single round, but we saw something similar in the previous where, well, in the second half, the team that had a massive disadvantage heading into the second half found 3 rounds and, well, we're not able to push past that. We'll see if that replicates itself here, as Loud have found 2 of those 3 between the open area site and the now top floor site. I'm not too surprised that they found those. I'm a little more surprised how they went, but the wins for Loud are not completely out of the blue, especially considering this is their map pick.
Yeah. We saw the same thing happen from Humble Academy as well, and when they switched onto defense on Oregon, where their attacks looked awful, and then once they switched onto the defense, you kind of saw the reasoning as to why they picked Oregon in the first place. Had they started off on defense, we might have seen a different game on Oregon, but they started out on attack. That's the side that they chose. And for Loud Esports, they chose the defense on Bank, but the defenses on Bank have not been convincing to me whatsoever. What's historically known as a defender-sided map has just been dominated by the attackers so far, and for both of these teams, again, like I said, their defensive holds have just been kind of bad, if I'm being honest.
Bomb located by attackers.
Bad versus shut down, I think, are 2 different points to make. Humble, it's a combination of the 2. I'm not gonna lie to you. It really has. I think it's been a difficult position for them to be in. Loud are very coordinated on their attacking side as a whole. We saw that a little more here in the previous 2 rounds. Mismo, lucky to be alive, tries to create a melee hole, and unsuccessfully so won't find all that much. Erbo, though, does find the opener onto Reiku. That's a great start for Loud, looking to send us to a 5-5 position, but Stuso has taken up that same position. Humble Academy going down to the bottom floor, you really couldn't recognize it based off of their defense. Both players on the top floor now fall. Arbo with a double already. Not a good position for Humble Academy to be in. What is their defense?
You know what, that I said it with Bank as well with Oregon, is that both of these maps allow for such not really wide extensions. If I'm saying wide extensions when I'm talking about Oregon or Bank, I'm more so talking about Bank, because Bank offers for a lot of roam play, and I'm guessing that Humble Academy wanted to try that with both Struso and Reiku, but when you do such a high roam presence as Erbo is on a typical, when you do such a high roam presence, you take it's a high risk, high reward type of thing, and Humble Academy showed us the high risk. They lose 2 players off rip to only 1 player who's gotten the only 3 kills in this round so far. Erbo's just tearing them apart as Loud Esports look to terrify this Humble Academy defense even further, but it's just, I don't know what that strat, I know what that strat was from Humble Academy, but it was poorly executed. It was a really sorry roam from them, as the plant does go down. Lasmo is there to get the plant down, but the overwatch is going to be from Andreo, who gets a 4K in that round, to 0 being an absolute menace, but also he was an absolute menace because Humble Academy allowed him to be.
Andrea continuing to find kills on this attacking side is not great for Humble, and on the 0 no less is not great. Sorry, not Andrea, Arbo. You've started mixing me up with them.
Oopsies.
You've done it to me. No, I'm kidding. But it's still a difficult position for them to consolidate. I'm a little surprised that Arbo found what they did. We saw Andrea try a similar thing on the first half, but it really hasn't been that successful. A 4K for Arbo is an outstanding position for Loud to be in, as the winner of this puts themselves onto map point. If Loud win it, it's match point and a 2-0 finish. Humble Academy need this map win, though, to send themselves on to second rather than putting themselves down to 4th, because if they do drop this map, Loud will go 2-0, gain 3 points from the win, and put themselves up to 2nd place.
Yeah. Likewise, if both of these
10
teams
seconds
get
to
a draw, yeah, oh yeah, sorry, I'm a, oh my god, I had a brain for it. Yeah, both of these
5
teams
seconds
get a,
to insertion.
if both of these teams get a draw, it's a point each for both
Attackers
Loud
objective
and
is to
Humble
locate a
Academy,
bomb
and for
and
Humble
defuse it.
Academy, they'd go into second place with 7 points. For Loud, I think they'd be in, they'd be like
Stay
in fourth.
Well,
Yeah,
they'd move up to
in
5th,
fourth.
but it wouldn't be, or they'd move up to 3rd. Sorry, I can't count
Yeah.
either, but it wouldn't be a great position for them to be in.
Yeah, it's you know, I feel like with the way that Loud Esports have played this map so far and with the way that they played Oregon, I feel like they most definitely deserve the full 3 points, but it's not, you know, if I say that, but it's not about what you deserve, it's about it's about the result that you get at the end of the day and how you get it, and if Loud Esports aren't able to get the full 3 points, then, you know, they don't deserve it, but I feel like they do because of the way that they played on Bank so far and with the way that they've played Oregon. But again, like I said before, it's just been really bad defenses from both of these teams so far, and I don't really know what the issue is with Bank, especially with it being such a defensive-sided map. But if we are going into overtime, both of these teams have to get their defenses in check.
Are we thinking that Bank may be a little bit more attacker-sided in EU? Because I know it's defender-sided in NA, but that's the main reason we've been bringing that up. But it's gone 4-2 for the attack in the first half, and thus far it's gone 3-1 for the attack in the second. Are we seeing a little bit of a changing in the guard across the pond?
Sorry, what?
Are we seeing the defensive side to change to an attacking side across NA to EU, across the pond instead of the Atlantic Ocean?
Oh, right. I think that could be the case because, like, again, like I said, I am from NA, and so I do watch a lot of NA games as well, as the pressure from Loud Esports is going to be focusing on the server side. But as of yet, no kills going into favor for neither team. Like I said, yeah, I think so. I do watch a lot of NA, so my analysis comes mainly from watching a lot of NA, but I also do watch a fair amount of EU as well. And so when I do watch Bank on EU, I do see that it is more towards the attacker's side. The opening kill is going to be on Struso, who was holding server, and so that leaves Reiko exposed, and now we see an early 5v3 for Loud. It's just, you know what, I feel like we are going to go into overtime, and the reason why I say that is because Humble Academy have found no good way to slow down these attacks at all. Like, they haven't found an effective way whatsoever. They brought Smoke, they brought the Echo, they brought Valkyrie, they brought Maestro. What more could you bring to this defense to slow down the attackers? And they haven't been able to slow them down at all. I mean, we do have 15 seconds left. They are going to head into the site. They have Diffuser in hand for Lasmo. There goes a kill from Mathox. There goes a trade from Andrea as well. Plant going down. Another kill this time from Arabo as he closes out the round with a 2K. But I don't think we're going into overtime.
No, especially with how Loud are posturing, especially in the bottom floor. A single round is all that's been won thus far from the Humble Academy, and that was on the bottom floor. It is now match point, map point as well for Loud Esports in opposing order. But Humble Academy need a win here. They go back to the lockers and CCTV room, understandably so. They want to go back to the only site that they have won thus far in the second half of play. The question now remains, will it be successful? There's a whole lot of plant denial being brought. Not so much staying power in terms of slowing down this attack. You can see it's a challenge for them to try and pull that off. Look at what they're bringing. You have the Tachanka in terms of those Shamika launchers. That's a lot of damage later on in the round. You have Andrea with information on the Yokais along with plant denial in terms of those sonic bursts. That's good, again, for later in the round. The C4 on Bart. Good for later in the round or through the floor looking for kills explosively. The Toxic Babes later in the round. That forces Loud to play quickly. The question now remains, will Loud pull a Humble Academy on their own attacking side and take too dang long on the bottom floor?
I don't really know. Again, like I've said it before, you know what? They brought the, okay, look, so now the changes here with Tachanka. They've already, again, like I said, they brought the Smoke, they brought the Echo, they brought Maestro in that last round, they brought the Valkyrie. Now we have Tachanka.
They didn't.
No.
They didn't bring the Valkyrie.
I thought they brought it on staff open area.
Oh, and in staff open, but it wasn't successful. That was Andrea trying to pull that one off, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah. But yeah, like, again, they bring all of these ops that could help with, like, the last 15 seconds of a round, or that could help choke off time. But the fact of the matter is that it hasn't. It hasn't at all. You have Smoke on the board consistently on this Humble Academy defense, and he has not been. And it's not only him. It's been the whole team who hasn't been able to slow down Loud enough to the point where it's noticeable, not only in the way that they play, but also on the time. Because Loud Esports will hit you very early on, and then they'll probably attack in the last 15 or 10 seconds, but you still bet on them to win it. Why? Because they have so much map control, and they have a good amount of players still alive, and also they have so many bodies going their way. It's laughable at this point. It's been a consistent issue for Humble Academy that they have not been able to slow down this Loud Esports attack whatsoever.
Humble are extending, though, and surprisingly so. You have one Toxic Babe sitting vertically on the top corner of blue. That's to allow Reiku to back away without too much pressure being applied here from Loud. But all you can do here as Loud is swing. Take a gunfight, try and win it, or dump a lot of utility in there. It could work, but I'd question whether they want to try that theme. That seems to be the call as Reiku continues to be pressured here towards the top of blue. They're also pressuring down towards the bottom of security at the same point, your server at the same point. Considering with just 75 seconds left, this is not a position you want to be in. Good explosive being thrown in. They're forcing Reiku back and continuing to do damage, but another Toxic Babe being thrown in forces this Loud side back, and they can't afford to do so.
Better time wasting though from Humble Academy. No first pick surrendered, so you know I've done all that complaining about how they don't waste time, and now they've done it. The first kill doesn't go their way. As I say that, Struso does fall for the side of Humble Academy. A Mossberg shotgun kill for Reiku as Erebo gets a second in this round. Now the first kill happening onto Struso the Jaeger, now the second happening onto Reiku the Smoke doing as good of a job as he could, wasting as much of Loud Esports' time as he possibly could, and he also got a pick to boast as well. 25 seconds left for Loud Esports to make a play on it to this basement, onto this server's site, to the Shmika launchers doing work. So while that smoke grenades are lost, you do have that last line of defense, and the Tachanka kills are going in the way of Loud Esports. Finally, we see a 1v3. Can Naguo close this out for his team? An LMG in hand, but look at the placements of these players. One is on a shield just right in front of the server doorway in front of him, but it is Baby Shark to close it out from a long angle in server, and it is Loud Esports to get the 3 points and to put themselves into second place on 7 points in total.
That falls this Humble Academy side down to fourth, and it was not a series that they wanted to have against them. A 7-4 and 7-5 flip between their own map pick and then Loud Esports map pick of Oregon and Bank, respectively. What happened? That's the real question for Humble Academy. It looked much better for them last week up against Ultrac. Yeah, they lost 7-5, 7-5 between Skyscraper. But it was a question of what happened. And the answer is a lot of lost gunfights and a lot of consolidated pushes that just were completely unsuccessful.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really think I can add much more to that. You know, adding on to that, also their defenses on Bank were just we saw some pretty funky defenses from Loud as well, so I don't want to like sit here and like put on more baggage on Humble Academy, because Humble Academy had some really decent attacks. Their strats weren't the issue on their defenses. It was just more or less their holds and how long they could hold on to it. The first picks weren't going their way on their defenses. It was going their way on their attacks. Once they got onto the defense, we saw that switch up completely. Momentum wasn't in their favor at all. It looked like when Loud Esports first got their first attacking win, they kept steamrolling, and Humble Academy could not stop them whatsoever. It's just unfortunate because, you know, it's opposite of what we saw in Oregon. They had really bad attacks on Oregon, really strong defenses on Oregon, really strong attacks on Bank, really poor defenses on Bank. So there you go. They will look at that. I feel they are most definitely going to have to look at that VOD over again and look at like the common mistakes that they had on both of those maps, and then look to improve on that once Playday 5 comes along.
It's the duality of man. They perform well on one side, poorly on the other. It was back and forth between the squads, but all 12 rounds required of regulation in map number 2 allows Loud Esports to take it 7-5. They also won their opponent's map pick of Humble Academies on Oregon 7-4. A collapse for the Humble Academy. They fall down to 4th place. Loud Esports, with that win, move themselves up to 2nd, just behind Praetorian, but they still need to take down the Giants in order to take that 1st place. That's going to do it for us this evening. I've been Time to Light. That over there has been 1B. Thanks so much to Trippin in the background running production and observation as per usual. We'll come back tomorrow with our first minor league game of the week. It's Lawless versus Nerf Minor, and then stick around for continuance's coverage of the Major League with Vega Esports up against Maestria Esports. We'll see y'all tomorrow.